Good morning, grade 2. We have a lot to look at for math today and a couple things that I want to go through here in our lesson. So I do want you to have your math binders handy because you'll need a couple of the worksheets there for that, all right? A couple of things that we're going to talk about. If you look on the whiteboard behind me, we're going to be talking about multiplication times 5 facts. You know how to count by 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. And so we're going to talk about how we get to those numbers by multiplying another digit by 5. You also have some tests today. You have fact test 21-1. That's the one with only 25 on it. And then you have test 21 to do. And then your Be the Teacher page. Now on the back of the Be the Teacher page, you have 100 amount of time test, the subtraction facts, and that you can be timed for 5 minutes on that. And then that's more of a practice. Tomorrow you'll have the test on those facts, okay? And then we're going to talk about problem solving using an organized list. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is go through the multiplying by 5. So again, you need to have your math binders if you don't have that and a pencil. Could you kindly just pause the video and go and get that and bring it on back, and we'll kind of work together through a few of your worksheets, okay? I'm going to cut to my other screen here. All right, so this is the page that I want you to have. It says lesson, whoops, a daisy, lesson worksheet 110-1A, and it has a picture of ovals with pennies in, okay? All right, again, if you need to pause the video while you get your things all set, you sure can. All righty, so here's what we're going to do. We look at each thing and we notice how this is an equal groups pattern, right? E.g., equal groups. So we have 3 groups, 1, 2, 3, and 5 pennies in each group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How much is that all together? Well, we can count 5, 10, 15, or what we want to get used to is that 3 times 5 is 15. Just like you memorize your addition and subtraction facts, you want to do the same here. My pencil lead is not going to work, so let me try a different pencil. All right, 15 pennies. Okay, now without looking at the picture, can you remember? Can you remember what 5 times 3 is? 5 times 3 equals 15 pennies, okay? All right, well, what about 1 times 5? Well, we know that one. 1 times 5, 1 times any number is always the other number. So 1 times 5 is going to be 5. 5 pennies times 1 equals 5 pennies. What about for C? 4 times 5 pennies. You can count by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20. Again, we want to get memorizing those so that we know that 4 times 5 is 20, or 5 pennies times 4, remember they can go in either order, is 20 as well. Slide my paper up just a little bit here. How about letter D? 2 times 5 pennies. Well, that's easy. That's like a double. That's 10. Or 5 pennies times 2 is 10. I want you to notice something here. Look what happens when you multiply 5 by an odd number, 3 or 1. When you multiply 5 times an odd number, you always get a 5 in the ones place. When you multiply 5 times an even number, 4, 2, and you'll see on the other side, as we multiply by even numbers, you always end up with a 0 in the ones place, and your 10's place is always half what you multiplied by. 2 is half of 4, 1 is half of 2. Just a little trick for you to look at with that. I'm going to slide my paper up here. We have another even number, and we know what happens when we multiply something times 0. We get 0. Oh, how about that? All right, 5 pennies times 0 is 0 pennies. All right, let's take a look at the other side. So the first thing we want to do on this side is count how many groups do we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so we write a 7 for how many groups we have. 7 groups times 5 pennies in each group again, you could count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. And remember, 7 is an odd number, so we're going to have a 5 in the pennies spot. How will we write that here? 5 pennies times 7, the number of groups we have. And again, that equals 35 pennies. How many groups do we have here? 3, 6, 9. Hey, we just counted by threes. 9 times 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. 9 is an odd number, so again we have a number that, let me write a little darker here, 45. All right, and then what do we write here? 5 times 9 groups equals 45 pennies. Excuse me. All right, think you can do letter H on your own? How many groups are there? Write that down in your first blank. Now count by fives to find out how many pennies. Then copy that over here. Did you do it right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 5 groups times 5 pennies, and that gives us 25 pennies altogether. 5 pennies in 5 groups gives us, again, 25 pennies. All right, let's try the next one. How many do we have here? That's 3, 6, 7, 8. 8 groups times 5 pennies. That tells me that I'm going to have a number that ends with 0. And half of 8 is 4. 40. Let's check and see if I'm right. 5, 10, 15, 25, 30, 35, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. I was right. 5 times 8 equals 40 pennies. All right, we have one last one to go, and then we're done with this worksheet page. How about that? 6 groups. Do you think you know it? Has to be a 0. Half of 6 is 3. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 5 times 6 gives us 30. Awesome. We're done with that one worksheet. Look at that. You don't have to give me a picture of that at all. We're all set, but please put it back in your binder or keep it in your binder so that you have it to look at. Now we have another worksheet just after that that looks like a clock on top. Okay, and remember we've talked about that before, that when we're doing our time, it's like multiplying by 5 or counting by 5s as well. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to draw a line from the 5 to the number we're multiplying by, and then write the answer as we go around. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3, 15. 5 times 4, 20. 5 times 5, 25. 5 times 6, 30. 5 times 7, 35. 5 times 8, 40. 5 times 9, 45. 5 times 10, 50. 5 times 11, 55. And 5 times 12, 60. All right. So you've got all of your answers that you need for the work down below up on your clock here. Okay, 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 7 is 35. And so what I would like you to do is finish the bottom of this worksheet on your own. Okay, so you have some multiplication facts to do here, and then a row of multiplication facts to do along the bottom. So I'd like you to finish that part on your own and then have your family take a picture of that to show me that you did it, and I'll give you a grade on that one, okay? All right, one more page, and you might have to turn a couple pages here, is our problem solving worksheet. Okay, problem solving worksheet. And on the top, it has a spot for your name and the date with digits. And then it says make an organized list. All right, so find that page. And like I say, if you need to pause for a second, you always can, and come right back to it. So today what we're going to do is we're going to make an organized list to solve a problem here. So first we have to read our problem and see what information we have. On Wednesdays, the children at Westcliff School can buy hot dogs, hamburgers, or chicken nuggets. They can drink milk or juice. Show the different ways Carrie can buy one of the meals and one of the drinks. Okay, so I see that we have 3 different meals, hot dogs, hamburgers, or chickens, and it looks to me like we have 3 different spots that we can write those. Then we have 2 drinks, milk and juice, and we have 2 spots where we can write those. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my meals and I'm going to write the food part in each of the spots that I need for the food. So hot dogs, I'm going to write it in one spot, and I'm going to write it in the second spot. Hamburgers, I can do hamburgers and hamburgers. And feel free to write along with me here, okay? I can do chicken nuggets and chicken nuggets. That was nice that they had a little form here for us to fill out, wasn't it? Then we didn't have to think about that. All right, so we've got the hot dogs, we've got the hamburgers, we've got the chicken nuggets. That looks good. Now look at our drinks. We have milk or juice. So on one column, I'm going to fill that in with milk. So Carrie could have hot dogs and milk. She could have hamburgers and milk. Or she could have chicken nuggets and milk. She also could choose juice with each of those meals. So she could have hot dogs and juice. She could have hamburgers and juice. And she could have chicken nuggets and juice. All right, so there are 6 different choices that she could have. Now on this side, it doesn't ask you to fill out how you solved it, but I'm going to do that on this side. You don't have to write this, but I'd like you to just listen and think about it because you'll need that for when you're doing side B. So how did we solve this? Well, once we read the problem up on top there, we filled in. So first, I filled in the 3 meal choices once in each blank on the left and one in once. Let's change that to once. Once on each blank on the right. All right, and that's exactly what I did. We did hot dogs, hamburgers, chicken nuggets, hot dogs, hamburgers, chicken nuggets. Then I wrote the drink choice. I think I'll put a or one. I wrote one drink choice. In each drink blank on the left and the other drink choice in each, move my paper up here a little bit, in each blank on the right. Okay, so that's how we solved our problem. So on the other side, your job is to read this story about Mr. Oh my goodness, that's a crazy name, Bribeska, and his folders and pencil choices that he has, okay? So read about Mr. Bribeska, complete the chart. How did you solve it? What kind of strategy did you use? On the other side, we did make an organized list, didn't we? And then it's also important that you explain how you got your answer. And if you need to go further down on your page like I did, that's okay too. All right, I'm going to switch back to the other camera here. Hi, I'm back again. All right, whoops. So there you go. That's your math for today. We talked about our multiplying by 5 facts. You have a couple tests to do today. You have to be the teacher. Good for you. And then how to do the organized list worksheet. So that should be everything that goes along with this part with your lesson 110. Okay. If you have any questions, make sure you give me a call. If you haven't read Mice and Beans from your hardcover reading book, go ahead and read that. And feel free to take an AR test on it. My apologies, I called a couple people last night and told them that the 30th was the last day for AR, and here it was really today. Whoops. Oh, well, everybody makes mistakes, right? If you haven't started your social studies weeklies page for government and citizenship, make sure you're reading through that, and we'll talk about that a little bit more on Wednesday. And then also take a spelling pretest on the mice and beans words on spelling city. And then I'll be looking forward to hearing your memory treasure a little bit later today. All right, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.